Hi gorgeous, and welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to show you how I went from this to this as part of my 30 kilo weight loss journey in 6 months. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name's Ashanthi and I'm a transformational health and fitness coach for women in their 40s. This is the place to find simple and effective ways to look and feel good in your body every day, and especially over 40. If you like what you see, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I post videos every Monday of every week. Okay, enough chit-chatting. I want to get to the juicy details of how I was able to lose 30 kilos in 6 months and keep it off for the last 8 years. So let's get in the video. Number one tip that I have for you when it comes to losing weight and keeping it off is to make exercise a priority. Now, I know that sounds really dumb and lame, and you're like, I already know that, Ashanthi. That is no news to me. But the thing about exercise is that it is essential for everybody, no matter if you're on a weight loss journey or not. So when I had 30 kilos to lose, exercise was really hard. And what made it easier was just sticking to a time goal. Rather than like a fitness goal and some kind of workout plan, what I decided was that I was just going to commit to 30 minutes a day of exercise. Now, let's not forget, at the time when I was 30 kilos heavier, I also had a newborn. I was also a new mum, and time was really of the essence. I didn't know what I was doing as a new mum, and I was really finding my way through that period. So creating an element of difficulty in following a plan and doing some kind of challenge wasn't going to help me. What I needed was something that was just really simple and easy to stick to. So the 30 minutes was something that I just did. It was something that seemed doable. Either it was with my daughter or it was me getting back into more of a exercise routine. So the first thing I would say, and especially this is for ladies who have had children, is to make sure that you get the all clear from your medical practitioner. So your obstetrician for sure. I had a C-section, it was an emergency C-section, so I needed to definitely get the all clear to exercise, to move my body, to get back into fitness. And once I got the all clear, it was about 8 weeks, I didn't jump into it. I took it really slowly. It's really important to not push yourself, not have these fantasies of getting your body back in like 3 months or even 6 months. Now, when I say it took me 6 months to lose the 30 kilos, that's because I tried to be consistent. I didn't do anything crazy. And this video is all about the habits that I created 8 years ago that have really helped me today. And that's why I think it's really important to keep it simple. So with the 30-minute rule, it was basically me starting to walk with my kid, getting outdoors, doing as much as I could at that time. Start off slow and progress. So I didn't jump into crazy workouts, doing burpees, doing, I don't know, HIIT style workouts. Now, disclaimer, I am a certified personal trainer and I have been so for many years. So one, I knew my body better than anybody, and two, I knew exactly how to get myself back into shape after having a kid. The number one thing is just take it slow, to get the all clear and just to do your best every day, okay? Just build up the consistency and you will feel great mentally and physically, and you will know when you're ready for more. You'll feel stronger, you'll feel more capable, and with the 30 minutes, it really helps you to just burn off some calories. So, number two tip that I have for you is to have a salad every day. Now again, this is not revolutionary, this is nothing new, this is something that you already probably know that you need to do, but are you really doing it? The reason why having a salad is so good for you is because quite often we forget to get our nutrients in. So we focus on maybe calories or macros, but really when it comes to feeling full and satisfied, you need to have a balanced meal. And a salad can be an excellent go-to quick balanced meal. what I found was that if I had prepped a salad with lots of yummy ingredients, it would take me a little bit of time for sure, but I could use that salad throughout the week for at least 2 to 3 days, and I knew that I had something that was nourishing and that would fill me up, and there was quite a lot of volume to it. So I made sure that I had protein, I had a carbohydrate, and I had a fat, and I had lots of greens, lots of vegetables, so that I was full. And you know what? It kept me out of the pantry cupboard for most of the day. When you've got a newborn or you're busy at work, it can really just help to be prepared, have something that's easy to put together, so you know that you're not going to be snacking on junk food and crap when you're really just hungry and you don't have any options available. Now this brings me to my third tip, and that is to eat more whole foods, more whole plant-based foods. So before I put on 30 kilos, let me just say that I was quite fit and I felt like I was quite healthy and doing all the right things, like having the protein shakes, having the protein snacks, having as much protein as what was recommended at the time. Now this is way before Instagram and all the information that we have available now on actually eating healthy for our health, rather than just looking a certain way. I got my inspiration from Oxygen magazine, other health magazines that were really more tabloid, more focused on bodybuilding style programs rather than, in my opinion, health. So before I lost 30 kilos, I knew what it was like to be fit. I knew what it was like to have abs. And quite frankly, when I looked at myself after giving birth and I looked at my body, I didn't recognize that woman. I didn't know how I could even get to that point. Now, mind you, I had no body shaming. I was loving my body for having that baby, but I just looked and felt different. Now, during the course of my 30 kilos that I'd put on, I basically lost my dad. My dad was diagnosed with leukemia, and 9 days before I had my baby, he died in hospital. And it was a really challenging time for me. Like, the lead up to the birth of my baby was really difficult for me emotionally and physically. And quite frankly, I didn't give a shit about my body. I just wanted to be there for my dad. I wanted to spend time with him, and looking after myself was just a matter of eating what I could find, doing my best. So it didn't matter that the scale was going up. It didn't matter that I was stressed. It mattered for me to spend time with him. And I'm so glad that I did that, because reflecting back, it was horrible what I went through. It was horrible for him more than me. And I just feel like in times of stress, sometimes you just can't do your best. Sometimes you've just got to survive. And that's okay. I knew that after my dad had died and after I'd given birth to my baby, my health was everything, and it was no good for me to just look at my body the way that I used to, in terms of just how it looked. If I had abs, if I was muscular, if I was looking fit and toned, it mattered to me that I was healthy. It mattered to me that I knew how to take care of my body. So it led me to study nutrition. It led me to take on a different approach to health, which I'm so glad that I did. And as a health professional, I'm an occupational therapist and rehab specialist. You know, it was really important for me to understand how the body moves, but this time around, it was really important for me to understand how to actually take care of my body through nutrition and other health practices that I practice today. So in saying that, focusing on whole foods is definitely important. Making sure that the food that you eat is from natural sources. So the big salad that I was having for lunch, it was critical to how I felt. It was giving me enough vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that my body needed. And I made sure that it was balanced. It had enough carbohydrate, protein, and fat in it. So I wasn't craving other foods. So I wasn't left feeling deprived. And I think that's what happens when you start a diet. You feel that you need to just have these small portions or restrict yourself to certain foods alone. And that's not necessarily the case. Like, we're all on a health journey. We have different compositions and different constitutions. So it's important to know where you're starting and know what you want and take a gradual approach to get there. So number 4 tip is a good one and a necessary one, because it is to not overdo alcohol. I only had alcohol once a week, and that was it. Now, I love a glass of wine. I love food and wine, and unfortunately, when you are looking to lose weight, you can't afford to overdo it on the calories. And alcohol is basically empty calories. It's not that I didn't drink alcohol, it's that I used it as something that I was looking forward to. So every Friday, my husband and I have always gone out for dinner. We've had Friday dates for as long as we've been together, which is about 16 years, 15 years this year. So that was a tradition, and that was something that I really enjoy. So instead of cutting it all out totally, I just left it to one night a week. And that really worked well for me. Obviously, I was breastfeeding at the time, so having alcohol every day is not part of a good diet when you have a newborn. But it gave me that flexibility to look forward to something and treat myself and have a good time without the restriction. Now, number 5 tip that I found really helped me to accelerate my weight loss was to get back into strength training. Now, it was basically using light weights to begin with. As you know, it's important to get medical clearance and then take it slowly to get back into exercise. So I started with seated exercises. I started with floor work and bench work. I started with machines. Look, I didn't start at home. I didn't really love exercising at home. I really felt like it had been ingrained for me to go somewhere and exercise. So I did go to the gym, but when I went to the gym, I just used some machines. I went really light, but I used also my body weight. So I did things like planks. I did things like plank rows, push-ups, and other exercises that you can do on the floor. But I also did squats and lunges and rows and all these foundational movements that are really important for you to understand first. And it was like I was relearning how to exercise. To be honest, it was a little bit funny for me because I just felt so different in my body. But after doing it for a few weeks, I got stronger and I felt so much fitter and more capable, and I felt more like myself. So that was really important for me to get back into strength training, and it's something that I teach my clients because they can fast track their weight loss, but also change their body composition a lot quicker than just doing things like cardio alone. So my number 6 tip is that I ditched the dairy and the gluten. And I think in 2021, you're probably no stranger to gluten-free or dairy-free. And there's a reason for that. When my dad was diagnosed with cancer, I made it a point to understand nutrition. I made it a point to try to understand why this would happen to him and if it could potentially happen to me. So I did my research and I came across countless articles and studies that linked cancer to inflammation. And if you don't know what inflammation means, it's just an inflammatory response that your body has to certain foods. It's kind of like a stress response. Now, I had my own cancer scare when I was 19 years old and when I was 29 years old. I basically had benign tumors in my neck that had to be removed. I didn't undergo any kind of treatment like radiotherapy or chemotherapy. I was lucky, but the unfortunate thing is that my dad wasn't so lucky. So I wanted to make sure that if I could reduce the likelihood of myself getting cancer, that I could do my best. And the best way that I knew at the time was to reduce my gluten and dairy intake, but also my animal consumption. So it's not that I went vegan at the time. I have been vegan in my lifetime, but that's another video for another day. I find it so helpful to reduce gluten and dairy just for the digestive benefits. A lot of us have sensitivities to gluten and dairy that we're not even aware of. There's so many products these days that have so many filler additives that are gluten and dairy, and that's why sometimes we become just a little bit more sensitive to it. So by eliminating it, for me, it first started with the linkage between animal products and inflammation and cancer. But then it became like a relief to know that I was feeling less bloated, less lethargic, more clear-minded, and I just felt better in my body. So I continue that today, And I do recommend it as part of my programs just to see how you feel when you do reduce your gluten and dairy intake. Now, my number 7 rule is a really simple one, and it's one that I love. It's the 80-20 rule. Now, if you haven't heard of the 80-20 rule, it's really simple. For 80% of the time, you are doing your best. You're staying on track, you're motivated, you're committed, you're being consistent. And for 20% of the time, you're like, whatever, I'm doing me today. It's okay, I'm eating that cookie. It's okay, I'm not doing that workout. Because what happens when you try to take an all or nothing approach is that you feel restricted. And that just makes you want to do the things that you're telling yourself you can't do. And that just leads down a slippery slope and a spiral, and you spiral out of control. I've been there, I know what it's like. So following the 80-20 rule for me really helps me, even today, to have my cake and eat it too, to feel like I can do this whole healthy lifestyle thing without driving myself crazy. I believe in consistency and I believe in simplicity. And the simplicity of eating well, exercising, and being consistent comes through not being so hard on yourself and giving yourself a little bit of leeway to have some fun. What's life without fun? So the 20% for me is to do what I want 20% of the time. And over the course of the week, it's really, really easy. It might be a missed workout. It might be a couple more glasses of wine. It might be that chocolate or bag of chips, whatever, doesn't matter. You have it and you get over it, but you keep track of it. Mentally, you're like, okay, well, I kind of had my little free-for-all. Now I'm getting back on track tomorrow. So it really kind of helps you stay consistent and have more of a positive mindset rather than that all or nothing approach. I know how hard it can be to prioritize yourself when you've got work commitments and family commitments. That's why I created a free guide for you. Link is in the description below. It's my top 10 tips to eat healthy and ditch the dieting for good. Remember, the link is in the bio and you can go down there and you can just download it for free. Now, I just wanted to emphasize that this is my own personal experience with losing weight based on the information that I had at the time. Now, knowing what I know now, would I have done the same things? Well, probably. I think the steps that I took and the tips that I've given you are essential to not only just losing weight, but living a healthier lifestyle. I think these days we can get carried away with the latest diets and fads and quick result programs that inevitably leave us with a little bit of a difficult time understanding our bodies. If you give yourself enough grace to go through a process so that you can test and you can see what's going on, you give yourself the gift of time, it'll all fall into place. Like, these tips are not revolutionary, but they are about being consistent. And I find that consistency is the underlying pillar that ties them all together. Don't forget to stay tuned to my next video in this series where I show you the exact meals that I would eat on repeat in order to lose the 30 kilos in 6 months. So lady, if you're looking for more tips and resources on how to lose weight, get fitter, and feel more confident in your body over 40, I encourage you to check the description below, have a look at that freebie and my other links in there. Hopefully we can connect. I will see you in the next video. Bye.